Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about how you actually start out your journey in this game of credit and finance. Now, don't worry, this is going to be applicable whether you're starting out from, under 18 all the way up to well into adulthood. We've got you covered. So if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead and press the subscribe button. Let's get to work. Now, first things first, when we talk about the world of credit and finance, here more so specifically credit cards, you probably, if you're lucky, you get the base understanding, like, hey, don't spend more than you have, always pay your bill, don't pay interest, things like that, maybe that you need to establish a credit profile. But that's really all you get. There is no school, there is no 101 for how do you actually maximize value along the way. So that's what we're focusing on today in case you're just starting out. But again, this should work no matter where you're at. So a few things, I'm going to run through some scenarios. I'm slotting in ages there, but the age is really more so kind of thinking about where you might be in your ability to earn income and meet minimum spends and things like that, But if I put in, age 20, well, some of you guys out there, you'll go to work for Google at age 21 and be making like $250K in no time, so that might not be super applicable. Anyways, with that explainer out there, now we're going to go ahead. So I'll walk through, a few phases of life, if you will, starting out with what I'm calling the pregame, which is before you hit 18 all the way through probably into your early 30s and beyond. So with that being said, let's take a look at what I'm calling the pregame here. So pregame, really simple. This is ages 15 to 18, and your goal here is going to be to jumpstart your credit. Why? Because at 15 to 18, you've had no reason to borrow more than likely, so you're a ghost in the system. Now, the way you can do this is become an authorized user. Just have your parents add you as an authorized user to an existing card. Now, I have a full video about authorized users that I will link down below if you're interested to this. Now, this is the best way to start out. This is not necessary. I was never added to one of my parents' cards as an authorized user at that age. But if you can do it, if your parents are willing to do it, then this is definitely a way to jumpstart. I don't think you need to go crazy and add to all their cards. Just like one or two cards max. A lot of cards don't charge an authorized user fee. Some do, like you can be added to the platinum card, for example, and that's like $75, and that can make sense in certain scenarios. But really, options are kind of whatever your parents have. Again, ideally, like a card that has positive history, because that is the whole purpose, and whatever they're willing to do. Because the idea here is that as an authorized user, you're going to inherit all that credit history of that card. So you're going to go from having nothing to something. But again, check out the video for authorized users if you want more information. So next up, whether you can do that or can't do that, either way you're going to find yourself in the rookies tier, which is starting at age 18. That's kind of the age most banks require you to be to start taking out lending products and things like that. So you can see here, I'm calling it the rookie, ages 18 to 19. Your goal here is really just to establish your own credit while earning a few rewards, meaning that if you're not earning the most rewards you can, like I don't really care, that's not the point, but if you can earn some, that's even better. So card issuers to consider here are going to be Capital One or your preferred student card, various issuers. So options, again, Capital One Saver Rewards is pretty good. Bank of America is a customized cash card for students, I believe, and the Chase has a Freedom Student as well. There are definitely others out there. Now, student cards are kind of designed, the banks understand that you don't have a lot of credit, right? So they're designed to, give you maybe a $500 credit limit, a few multipliers here and there, and be a lot easier approval. Some other folks may throw out secured cards, but I don't think as a student you need to necessarily go secured card. Now we've seen such a rise in student card options. Now, another thing to consider here is if you were able to do step number 0, the pregame where you were added as an authorized user, you may not have to go the student card route. You may be able to go straight into like something like a Freedom Unlimited or a Freedom Flex. The thing here, though, you're going to have to realize is when you start talking about these other cards, just keep in mind the minimum spends, because as you're going to learn through this journey, to get a card sign-up bonus, you're going to have to hit a minimum amount of spending, and if you want to do that, you might not have that much income that early in the game, so be mindful of that as well. And then also, again, here, I wouldn't go crazy, right? I'm talking one card, maybe two max, and the reason is, we have so much more to learn, like minimum spends, how points work. We're going to talk about this in the next slide, what kind of points earner you are. So with that, let's go on to the next stage. Now, the next stage we have is learning the ropes. So this is kind of age 19 to 22. So the goal here is understand the game of credit and finance. So, building off the other slides, we have an established credit history because you have 1 to 2 cards. Maybe you've got the authorized user. And so now you're really getting into it. You understand how multipliers work. You understand how how to hit minimum spends and bonuses. That whole deal. Again, I've got videos on the whole back catalog for all this stuff if you need it. So the card issuer here to consider is going to be Chase. Now, regardless of if you like Chase, don't like Chase, we always say Chase is first because of that rule called Chase 524. Again, this is all kind of stuff you'll learn in your learning the ropes phase, but a lot of card issuers have rules. We'll only let you sign up for so many cards in one go, over the course of X amount of months. Well, Chase has one that says you could only have opened 5 new credit card accounts with any issuer over the past 24 months, and if you've opened more than 5, then it's an automatic decline. Now, at the time of taping, they're getting a little bit softer with this on some of the co-branded stuff, but for our purposes, that's neither here nor there. Just stick to 524. So even if you tell me you hate the Freedom Flex because you don't like rotating quarterly categories, well, that's fine. You can still get it for the bonus, and then after that, you don't have to use it because it's not an annual fee card, right? So that's why I have you starting with Chase. And at this point, I'm probably still sticking with no annual fee cards. Freedom Flex, Freedom Unlimited, things like that. Because again, I'm assuming at this age, you just might not have the spend to hit a Sapphire Preferred, Sapphire Reserve bonus. I didn't personally, so there's no shame in it. But again, if you're one of those Google, Facebook engineers, then hey, whatever you can swing, by all means, you don't have to follow this. So again, you're learning the ropes. Maybe you're watching some folks on YouTube. I hear there's a great channel here you might want to check out. I don't know. So now that you've learned some things, let's move on to the next stage. So the next stage we have is the Look Mom No Hand stage. This is kind of age 22 to 25. You've watched enough videos, you know what's going on. And so now you're going to start actually developing an early game strategy. And this is where you kind of choose your own adventure. And most of us will be multiple of these, all 3 of these at one point or another. So you could be Team Cashback, which means you're kind of focused on the no annual fee cards, just give you multipliers, no travel rewards or anything like that. You could be a bonus hunter, jumping from card to card, picking the sign-up bonuses to make you the most money, or you could be Team Travel. Now, for most of us, Team Travel comes a little bit later in life. Now, the issuers I have here, again, I'm going to strongly encourage you to start finishing up Chase. Bank of America is one that's not really talked about that much, and Citi as well. I think those are pretty good issuers to go after. Those are your big ones. You could also throw U.S. Bank in here as well. Now, again, as you look through this, understand, like we said in the last slide there, that a lot of issuers have rules about how many cards you can get, the velocity which you can apply at. So I didn't go so far as now to break down all of that in this because, again, everyone's going to have different interests. Citi may not interest you, Bank of America may not interest you, but you now know that you need to go research that a little bit, or if you ask me in the comments, I will probably just find the answer for you and tell you, because I hear I'm a nice guy. But anyways, those are the ones I'm talking about. And I purposely left American Express off the list because, again, at this age, this stage in the game, 1, American Express cards tend to be expensive. Number 2, there's still a lot of other cards that you can get, and you're probably just getting to a point in your life where you're able to do some serious travel without the family, things like that, where American Express cards are best utilized in the late game. So let's move on to that. So now we have the all grown up phase. This is age 25 to 30. So your goal here is perfect strategy as opportunity presents itself. So any one of those strategies we talked about, the past one, cashback, travel, bonuses, we've all been one of those at one point or another. Kind of just figure out which one you want to go, and again, it will change. Now, the card issuers to consider here, I think you're considering American Express cards, and I also think you're considering business cards. Now, you could have done business cards at any point in that early phases that we went through, but the reality is me explaining to you personal cards, and you learning all of that, and working through those bonuses, and then me explaining to you how to do business cards might be a little bit much for some people, but if you need it, I have business card 101 video as well. I have a whole 101 playlist, actually, I can link to below if that's helpful. But, there's nothing really precluding you from getting them, but this is the kind of time where you could do it. You could pull it off between 25 to 30 because business cards often have a much, much higher spend requirement. And again, a lot of us in our early 20s, you're not going to be able to hit it even through making up manufacturer spending or anything like that. So now, you kind of hear the world is wide open. You've learned the ropes and everything. You've got your setup built. And you can go forward and just kind of cherry pick, if you will. But I have one more phase, and this kind of takes you through now to, the rest of time, if you will. So let's take a look at that. Next phase here is RJ Who. That means you're all grown up, you've graduated, you no longer need me. Maybe you're making your own videos at this point. 30 plus, the age is kind of arbitrary at this point in the game. The goal is you're playing at expert level. What does expert level mean? It means there's no annual fee is too expensive, no minimum spend requirement is too high. You know how to do it all. Card issuers will consider whoever is left standing in your wake. You've probably run through all of them. Maybe you're even churning cards at this point. As far as your options, really you're just going through and maybe you're trying to perfect your setup, right? I don't apply for a ton of cards anymore. I have about 10. For a card to come up for me to apply for, it's got to solve a problem for me, right? My last card was a U.S. Bank card. That solved the problem for me. It allowed me to maintain a relationship with U.S. Bank. I want a City Custom Cash because that perfects my setup. It's another 5x card. But outside of that, it's not really super helpful to me to just get random cards. Same with sign-up bonuses. If a card is a really big bonus that I can hit, by all means, that's how I got the Ink Unlimited card for Chase. The Ink Unlimited card doesn't do anything for me, except it was like $750 if you hit the sign-up bonus. That's worth it, in my opinion. That's kind of where you'll be at. You know, if you're going to take a vacation, and you're like, hey, well, maybe I'm going to go after the Aspire card because I know how to use this for a year, and maybe I downgrade it or get rid of it. You know all that. Your expert mode. You probably should start your own channel at this point. But anyways, there you go. Those are kind of the phases, I would say, for your credit card journey. Now, again, a lot of us don't get you start like that because it's well-intentioned. There's people in our lives at the beginning. This is still kind of fairly new. I mean, back in my day, kids, there was no one on YouTube talking about this, Now it's been on YouTube for about 5 or 6 years now. So it's much easier to figure out. So again, whether you're picking this up, whether your ages match or don't match, I think it's still fine to kind of, understand this and kind of fit into it because the rules of the issue, the way you want to play the issuers and go through Chase first and then some of the other ones still applies to no matter where you're at. But overall, the gist of this is you do much better in this game when you understand the basics. Take the time to learn it because everyone's knee-jerk reaction, myself included, is always to go, oh, this is great. Anything worth doing is worth overdoing. Give me all the cards, and then you're locked out of like every issuer you could have actually wanted. You've left a ton of money on the table. Trust me. I did that on my bank account bonus hunting days, and then I started getting denied by a bunch of banks when I had signed up for all these $1,500 bonuses that weren't really worth it. Now I'm missing out on $300, $400, $500 bonuses because it went too fast, too quickly. So anyways, if you like this one, guys, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel. Again, posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. My question for you guys is drop your tips down below for maybe some of those youngsters out there just getting started, or anything that you've learned or resources that have been helpful to you building your credit card journey. Love to get you guys' thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next one.